Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a video review. And for this review, we're going to be taking a look at Xcom 2 collection for the Nintendo Switch. Xcom 2 is also available on the PS4, Xbox One, PC via Steam, Mac, and Linux. And if you're interested in any gameplay footage of me playing the game, I'll have a link down in the description down below, or you'll probably click on the card that will appear up on this YouTube video. In 2017, though, Nintendo, teaming up with Ubisoft, released a game known as Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. It was sort of a crossover between the Mario series and the Ubisoft's Rabbids series, which up to this point have only been reduced to pretty much appearing in just mini games outside of Rabbids Go Home, which was exclusive for the Nintendo Wii and all. And one of the things people saw in terms of playing Mario plus Rabbids was that the game followed very much what many view as a Xcom approach. Basically, it was sort of a cover-based shooter, some exploration though, but mostly the gameplay and the combat follow that, where you put your character in cover in a good spot, and you basically shoot and take out your enemies and so forth though. Other games like Mutant Year Zero, Road to Eden will be similar to that. And playing that game at the time though, it made me kind of wish that 2K would basically bring over the Xcom series, especially including Xcom 2, the 2016 release. Fast forward to 2020 though, and we started first seeing rumors pop up of 2K bringing some games over, such as the BioShock and the XCOM 2 over, based on a rating that popped up. First, I think some of them popped up in a Taiwanese rating, then it popped up in a South Korean rating and all. And then eventually 2K would release a trailer during one of Nintendo's Directs that showed them bringing over three what many view as very popular franchises, or some of their popular games. The Borderlands series, which will be known as the Borderlands Legacy Collection, which is Borderlands 1, 2, and the pre-sequel. The BioShock series, that would contain BioShock 1, 2, and BioShock Infinite. And the XCOM series, though. Basically, XCOM 2, the collection edition that supposedly contains all the DLCs in it, including some of the expansion packs and so forth. So, and with that, I got a chance to play it again this time around on the Nintendo Switch. And I will say that while there are some hiccups with the Switch version, though, I will say Virtuos that handle the Switch port, yes, the same Virtuos that handled the Outer Worlds on the Nintendo Switch, although I don't think it's as bad as some people make it out to be, but that's my opinion and so forth. I will say this one is a good port for them, though, much like other ports that they've done, like LA Noire and Dark Souls Remaster. So why don't we get started with the pros and the cons, and we'll start off first with the pros. And the first one has to do with the story. I definitely like how they were approaching the story in this one, in which, aliens have already taken over the Earth and so forth, and you're forming sort of a resistance, or trying to basically get XCOM back up and running to defeat the aliens that have overtaken your world and all. It basically has sort of like, I think this was a show on TNT a long time ago. It basically has a Fallen Skies vibes to it in a way, though, and so for me, I really do enjoy the story, though. Next thing I do want to talk about is the gameplay, and the gameplay is basically fun, even though I'm not 100% perfect at it or anything like that. Basically, the gameplay follows, it's sort of like a cover-based shooter and a strategy, though. Basically, you and your enemies take turns. You want to move your characters into certain spots. Mostly you want to put them in an area for cover and so forth. And basically what you do, when depending on how close you are to the enemies, you have several options. Sometimes you'll have different options depending on what the enemies have. Depending on what player you're using. Other options could be from the usual, like you could try to target and see if you could take out the enemy, to throw in a grenade, depending if you have that equipped, to going into Overwatch mode, which basically means that every time the enemy turns, depending on your location, you'll automatically fire when the enemy moves and all that stuff. Though bear in mind, the enemies can do the same thing as well. And each of the games will have different objectives. Some might involve you taking out the enemies. Others may involve you basically destroying a certain target within a certain time, certain amount of turns, or trying to get to a certain area in a certain amount of turns. Though, basically, the best way I could sum it up is that if you play for Switch owners, if you played games like Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battles or Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, you will basically feel right at home with it. Though it doesn't. I mean, in fact, that's my phone. In fact, you could say that Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battles and Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden drew inspiration from the Xcom series, though. So, gameplay is very similar to those two games. It doesn't blatantly copy it or anything like that. I mean, it doesn't follow. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, yes, there are certain things that separate Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle from, XCOM 2, same with Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, though. But the gameplay is very similar, and if you play those games, you'll probably feel right at home with this one. And last but not least, though, we do want to talk in terms of how does the game run on the Nintendo Switch. And I will say, based on my time with it so far, it seems to run pretty well, though. I haven't experienced any situation in which the game crashed or anything like that, or any sort of bug or glitch that made the game outright unplayable, though. The only thing I've seen so far is sometimes when you go into Overwatch mode, sometimes the camera will get into sort of an odd action and you won't really see basically what's going on, or basically see where you won't see the action going on. So there's some weird moments, though, but for the most part, the game basically, for the most part, the game runs well on the Nintendo Switch. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to part 2, which are the cons. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our video review of Xcom 2 collection for the Nintendo Switch. So now that I gave you the pros, why don't we get started with the cons then? And there were 3 cons that, at least based on my time with the game, that I thought that should be pointed out. The first thing I do want to talk about is the frame rate in the game. Now, as I mentioned in the pros, that the game, I mentioned how it runs well on the Nintendo Switch. And it does, though, and for the most part, it does run at 30 frames per second. Excuse me. That said, though, there are times when I've seen the game run sort of dip below 30, mostly sometimes in the 20s or anything like that. While not as bad as what we're hearing with the controversy with Deadly Premises. I apologize if I'm not saying the name correctly. Excuse me. Again, I apologize if I'm not saying the name correctly, though. It is noticeable, though. Now, being this is sort of a strategy game, not a fast pace or anything like that, it doesn't... oh, excuse me. It doesn't bother me as much or anything like that. It hasn't made the game unplayable nor has the game crashed or anything like that, at least based on my time with the game, though. But it is sort of noticeable, though, even after the recent update that has came for Xcom 2 collection and so forth. So again, there are some frame rate issues, but like I said, based on my time with it, nothing that made the game unplayable or anything that made the game crash or anything like that. The next thing I do want to talk about is the visuals, and I will say, the visuals, I will say, are not like the highlight of this game or anything like that, at least based on my time with it, though. I mean, some of the designs, the aliens and all, look really neat or anything like that, but, I mean, for the most part, they're somewhat... some of the characters, basically, are sort of generic or anything like that. They don't look as impressive compared to some of the villains in the game and so forth. And being this is on the Switch, obviously the visuals aren't going to look as good as what they are on the PS4, Xbox One, or even on PC or Mac or Linux and all that stuff. It's sort of like a low-res version of what those versions look like, though. So, I mean, they're mixed bags. They're not terrible, but don't expect it to look visually great or anything like that. And last but not least, I do want to talk about the download requirement, though. Even though this game even though there is a cartridge and everything like that, and it contains everything in this game, it is worth pointing out, though, that unfortunately you do have to download the game. It will require a 24 gigabyte download, though. So yeah, that is still unfortunately annoying. Although it's not as bad as, say, like the Borderlands Legacy Collection or the BioShock Collection for the Nintendo Switch. In fact, out of all the 3 2K games that have come to the Nintendo Switch, Borderlands Legacy Collection, BioShock Collection, Xcom, and Xcom 2 Collection, I would say Xcom 2 is sort of better than the other 2 that I mentioned. I mean, the download isn't bad or anything like that. It is still annoying, though. It is, like I said, 24 gigabytes, but it's not as bad as like Borderlands Legacy Collection requires a 64 gigabyte download, though. So yeah, it's still one of those games. That game, I would say, is one of those where you're going to need a bigger micro SD card, and this one I would say, yeah, you're probably still going to need a bigger one, but not as bad as the Borderlands and BioShock on the Nintendo Switch are. Overall, I will say that Xcom 2 Collection is a nice addition to have for the Nintendo Switch. The story, like I said, has a Fallen Skies vibe to it, though, which certainly is a bad thing. The gameplay is still fun and enjoyable, even for those who were fans of Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden or the Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom battles, though, and the game still runs well on the Nintendo Switch. It's not a perfect port by any chance. There are some frame rate issues, but like I said, nothing that I saw that made the game in any way unplayable, at least from the way I'm seeing it, though. And the visuals, obviously, they weren't a graphical powerhouse, so they're sort of mixed. Some of it doesn't look impressive, but some of it, like the alien designs, look really neat, though. And the download, yes, it is still annoying. You still have to download for this game, it's a 24 gigabyte download, but I would say it's certainly better than Borderlands Legacy Collection or BioShock the Collection is. So, if, like I said before, in the pros one, if you enjoy games like Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battles or Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, then I'm pretty sure you'll probably enjoy Xcom 2 Collection, though, especially considering you're getting all the content in this one, though. Here's to hoping that 2K Games not only continue to support the Nintendo Switch, but here's to hoping we'll see something like maybe the first XCOM, Enemies Unknown, or any of the other XCOM games. I believe there were 2 others, I'm not 100% sure, though. That'd be great if they bring them over to the Switch. And if somehow an XCOM 3 were to ever happen, if they ever do decide to do an XCOM 3, I'm hoping that they also would love to see that game come to the Nintendo Switch if that ever happens. So, my overall, like I said, if you like Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battles or Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, then I would say Xcom 2 Collection is definitely a game for you. Okay, this concludes my video review of Xcom 2 Collection for the Nintendo Switch. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Xcom 2 Collection for the Nintendo Switch? Are you glad that they brought this game over to the Nintendo Switch? Do you enjoy this type of game, especially if you are fans of Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle or Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, though? Do you think 2K should put more games on the Nintendo Switch? Are there any other games you like for them to come to the Nintendo Switch? Did you like what I said in this video? Did you not like what I said? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal Me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!